Hello and welcome to Spirit Wisdom Wednesday, where we gather here together in the healing space and allow some beautiful spirit wisdom to flow through. If you are new to me, welcome. My name is Meredith, and this is part of my heart-centered business called The Healing Hummingbird. What I love to do here is help healers and givers reclaim their power, heal grief, and heal themselves. That's always what it is. That's always what it comes down to. So thank you so much for bearing with me. If you follow me, like if you're familiar with me, I really had a go with technology. I'd say maybe for the past month, I've just consistently come up against challenges. So it's really interesting that Spirit wants to do a mid-year check-in today. And I thought it would be fun to have office supplies out as our items today. Just kind of doing like a mid-year review with ourselves and our spirit guides. Like, where are we? Where are we going? Is there anything that we need to change? Okay, so let's let the day go so far. So I'm going to place my hands over my heart space, centering in the sacred healing space. And I'll invite you to take a couple deep breaths in with me. Let's inhale in. And exhale out. Inhale in. And exhale out. Let's roll our shoulders back too. I feel like we really need to root and ground in the body. Yeah, that feels good. All right, let's settle into the read here. Let's invite our spirit guides, our guidance, anyone who's here to communicate for the highest good of all. Let's invite them in close around us now and ask which group holds our messages for our mid-year check-in. You might see an activity going on that involves a particular object. You might get a color, a feeling, a knowing. You might even hear a number that corresponds to the groups. Or you may be drawn to one of the items that I have laid out before us. So for group number 1, you have this pretty stack of Post-it notes. Group number 2 has this cute little pencil case. And for group number 3, you have a Bumblebee rubber ducky. All right, so if you are watching the recorded version, please feel free to pause here and take some time to meditate on the objects to find which pile that you are most drawn towards. And let's go ahead and get started. All right, let's get started with group number 1. If you chose the Post-it notes here, I'm gonna leave them up here for us, and let's get started with your mid-year check-in. We'll get some tarot, see what type of dynamics that you're dealing with, where you've been, where you are, where you're going, and then we'll get some guidance and clarity on that. I do feel with the Post-it note object, there is a message here about remembering something. So you might feel that your focus is really pulled in multiple directions and you have to make extra efforts to make sure that nothing slips through the cracks. So you might find yourself setting extra alarms, multiple alarms on your phone, on your calendar app, just to make sure that you remember what all you need to do. So you feel very busy, group number 1. Let's see what comes out here. Okay, yeah, we have the 7 of Wands. They want me to go ahead and talk about that. I feel like that's where you are. So this almost has a feeling like I'm fighting for what I want. I'm really working for it. I'm putting in the hours, and it feels at some times or some moments that it's me against the world. And so this is definitely an energy of perseverance. I feel like that is why you are here in this reading today. Like, I would like some relief or at least a little bit of advice on how to make this easier for me, or at least maybe tweak something to make my day-to-day experience a little more enjoyable. So it seems like you've been dealing with some intensity, group number 1. Let's see where you've been. Okay, we have the Knight of Coins. This is a slow and steady pace. Coins always deals with material things, so maybe you're starting out on a new job or a new investment, a new financial venture. But the Knight, this is the slowest moving Knight in the deck. He's dependable, but he does move slower. But he's sowing seeds in fertile ground. So I wonder if maybe the pace either has picked up for you or there's increased pressure and it's like moving so slowly is almost making things a bit harder for you in the present moment. So let's see where your current trajectory is. I do want to stress this. Since you are group number 1, I will let the other groups know as well. The current trajectory is malleable. That's just if everything stayed the same as it did today, this is where you're going to end up. We're going to break this down and get you advice. So if you don't love what comes out here, I don't know why I'm saying all this. Maybe it's a preemptive message, a little bit of damage control. Maybe you tend to do that for other people. But don't be alarmed if we don't love what comes out here, okay? This isn't like set in stone. So where you're going. Okay, we have the 4 of Cups. That's not too bad. I was wondering, that was almost sounding like a warning. I was like, how bad is this going to be? So the 4 of Cups is fine, but it's almost like you might be concerned about being disappointed in something or feeling unfulfilled at the end of the day. Like, I don't want to put in all this work if I'm not even going to be happy with the results. So the 4 of Cups isn't like a tragedy or anything. It's not even really a challenge, but it's like boredom and wanting more. Okay, we're going to put these under the tabs here. All right. So let's see what lesson is going on here. I feel like once we shed light on the lesson, this will work out a little bit faster for you, or we might be able to adjust decision making and make some energetic shifts towards what you really want. I feel like maybe you don't even know what you really want. I'm getting this kind of unsure feeling. It doesn't feel like overly negative. It just kind of feels like, oh, I really haven't thought that far ahead yet. That's kind of what it feels like. Okay, we've got some flipped over here. And we have peace. I am a being of love and I release all negative energy. Okay, dear soul, maybe you've taken on a little too much in the present moment. So I feel like you set out with a very practical, logical plan for the year. Yes, this is what I want to accomplish. I'm going to take small, realistic steps towards that in this Knight of Coins energy. But then, like, somehow you got really ramped up, like took on some other stuff maybe. Or maybe you're facing some challenges that are a little unexpected, like dealing with people. The Wands can also feel like a competitive energy. So I wonder if you feel like you're having to protect yourself or your property or something else. It feels like something unexpected here happened. But then, okay, so there's this message coming through of not exerting so much energy that you're left so burnt out and tired in the end that it's really hard to even appreciate what's in front of you. So, okay. For you, group number 1, oh, this makes sense. You're trying to remember so many things with the Post-it notes. Okay, so there's really a focus on your inner peace, on inner harmony. And that might mean letting a couple projects go for now, or just bookmarking it, tabling it for now. It doesn't mean it has to be gone for good. But yeah, I feel this is really, really the focus here. So let's get some advice on how you can welcome more peace into your life and kind of redirect the outcome of the year so that you end the year feeling very fulfilled. I feel like emotional fulfillment is very important to you, or maybe even feeling spiritually fulfilled. You feel very like philanthropic to me, very philosophic. Like the way you see the world and your ideas about it are very clear to you. I feel like your vision of things is very important. And I really love that, actually. I appreciate that. I feel like I don't meet a whole lot of people that share that. So we will take that little chunk that fell out as a deck cut. So first we have for you full moon in Pisces, balance spirituality and practicality. Okay. And my kitty cat is running crazy through here. So I think your spirit guides just showed up. Oh my gosh, sweet pea. We also have for you new moon eclipse, expect powerful change. Okay, so I feel like you're really a go-getter. So you really feel like my people. I feel like I'm talking to my people here. So I feel like you really take initiative in your life and you really go after things, but that can result in having so many moving parts going at once that the machine kind of starts to malfunction or you forget to service a part of it, if that makes sense. But it's like Spirit is saying, if you really just allow peace to come through and continue with an original plan that was laid out at the beginning of the year, then the powerful change will just happen to you. It will knock on your door. You don't have to go searching for it. You must have maybe Sagittarius or Aquarius in your chart, because I feel like you really seek the truth. You seek meaning. And I definitely relate to that as a Sag sun. And then over here, this is a nice iteration of what we were just discussing. Balance spirituality and practicality. Yeah, I feel like we started practical. You had all your notes laid out. You have all your alarms going off, but now it's just becoming like a challenge to even keep up. And it feels like there's other interruptions. Like, I don't love when people say this, but like life happened somehow. Something happened where you're needing to deal with other things that have popped up. And it's like, oh my gosh, now all this activity that I've kicked up is just like a lot for me to deal with. Okay. Yeah, so we're definitely looking at balancing. I do feel like something may fall away, like something that you had recently picked up maybe in the last 3 months. I feel like one of those things is going to fall away for you. Okay, so now let's get these are called, it's called magical spell cards, but I love these cards to get like themes and keywords. I just love this deck. So I would love to know where you will end up if you're able to implement this advice, these adjustments. And it really, I'm seeing someone's spirit guide kind of shrug their shoulders. They're like, it's really not that big of an adjustment. It just might be challenging for this particular person to let something go that they really care about, which I can relate to that too. Okay. So how will the year end for them if they're able to implement this change? And we'll get some divine abundance cards for you too. Okay. We have for you Justice number 5 by the Power of 3 by 3. Oh, Mont, deliver justice to me. Interesting. I wonder if you feel like something isn't fair. Like you're having to fight for justice. Yeah, that definitely feels like that's it. So I'm so sorry, group number 1. It seems like there's something that's kind of happened that was unexpected and something that you didn't deserve. I'll put it that way. They don't want to get too far into specifics, but it's important that your guides say that to you. They really want you to know that they see what you're going through. And I feel like you've done an excellent job of not sitting in it for too long, if that makes sense, or not feeding it too much energy. So maybe not many people around you know about this, what they're referencing. But I love this imagery here of the scales. And again, this is all about balance and peace. So, yeah. So the original outcome was more boredom and feeling unsatisfied. And if you're able to integrate peace and balance your spiritual and practicality mindsets, or more like the spiritual body and the physical body, let's put it that way, then justice will be served and things will just balance out for you. So I love that. Okay. Let's get just a couple more advice cards for you since that justice came out. Yeah. I feel like you've been looking for advice and guidance. And that came out fast. Did you see that? We have broken arrow, embrace the energy of peace. Oh, and we have peace down here. And then also medicine guardian, be open to healing information. Yeah, maybe some kind of bridge was burned and then kind of an unexpected way. Maybe something kind of blew up suddenly. It feels like something surprising happened. And it almost felt like an unwarranted fight. But it feels like by the end of this year, it will be over. And healing will have happened. But almost like on a divine kind of level. So if you resonate with angel energy, I'm really getting Archangel Raphael from this card here for you. And then you've been through a lot, so I would love a couple of cards of abundance for you. So what is coming? What are the good things that are coming? Now that we've had the criticism, Spirit, thank you for the constructive feedback. Now we would love some compliments. Yes, let's end the mid-year review on a high note. That's what you're supposed to do, right? That's so funny. Sometimes I see one of my spirit guides carry a clipboard a lot, and I just saw that clipboard. So I feel like you're a note taker or you write by hand. So that might just be a further confirmation that this is indeed your group. Okay. Now we had a few come out here. Right action. I mean, what's a better card to get in a reading, right? If you have a question. Love. And sanctity. Wow. Oh my gosh. So this is like the physical and material realm, the emotional body, and the spiritual body. Wow. So big culmination coming at the end of this year. It feels very unifying, like you will feel very whole and focused, which is beautiful. It feels like maybe that energy has been fleeting for you lately. Yes, but by the end of this year, if you are able to integrate this energy of peace and kind of allow things to be, I mean, really, Spirit's taking care of things for you in the background. So I don't know what kind of karma you've worked up, group number one, but you've done a great job. Those are your messages if you chose the post-it notes. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. All right, let's get started with group number two. If you chose this really super cute pencil case, let's get started with your mid-year review. We'll get some tarot to figure out what type of dynamics you are dealing with, where you've been, where you are, where you're headed, and how to change that, or how to affect it in a good way for the highest good of all. So for group number two, Spirit, what do they need to know? What would you like to bring up about their mid-year check-in? So I feel like for group number two, there's already something coming through about security, about keeping something safe, maybe even hidden, not like in a bad way, but like in a protective way. So maybe you're taking a look at your information, making sure that that is all good, set up where it needs to be, and just making sure that you have basic security measures in place. So an example of that would be like life insurance or something maybe you haven't evaluated in a while. But let's see what comes out in the tarot. So first we have the Eight of Swords. And then the Two of Wands. And the Ten of Swords reversed. Okay, I love that that is reversed, but I would love to figure out an even better outcome for you. So I would love for the Ten of Swords to not even be here by the time we're finished with the mid-year review. Okay, I'm actually going to move this to make a little bit more room for you. but we'll put it like there so you can still kind of see it. Okay. So where you're at right now, you may have some Gemini in your chart, sun, moon, or rising. The Two of Wands often refers to planning ahead. You might even be looking at traveling or relocating, planning something out. So that example of life insurance that came up, that's right on par with this type of card, like saying, how can I set my future self up for success? What do I want to do now? It's almost like dreaming of the future, because the suit of wands is always about passion and spirit and fire, and creativity. But it looks like you are examining both the past and you might be a little concerned about the future. So let's take a look at that. Where you've been is the Eight of Swords. Now, this is a card that's often called the card of self-imprisonment. If you take a look here, this person can stand up and walk away, but they don't feel like they can. That's not what they're perceiving at this time. So it feels like you might even be kind of in a combination of these two right here. A feeling of stuckness, a feeling of I have to get out of here, I have to change something. And then you might be scoping out your options. Where can I go? What can I do? Do I need to find a new career? Do I need to get out of a relationship or a new housing situation? I mean, it looks like you're considering some pretty big moves, positive moves though. It feels like your ideas are in the right ballpark. In the future position, however, we do have the Ten of Swords. So upright, let's just take a look at what this would mean upright. The Ten of Swords is a painful ending, and it often can reference feeling betrayed by someone or backstabbed. And I do find it very interesting that we have swords on both sides, coming from swords, potentially ending up in swords. So we're definitely going to get some information on how to change that. So in reverse, though, you could be concerned or releasing worry about potentially being betrayed by somebody. Like maybe you've been through something, maybe somebody even like cheated on you, betrayed you, scammed you, something that was pretty negative, and it's almost like you're concerned about it happening again. So kind of an example of how to interpret this would be, I'm in a relationship that I'm not happy with, I feel like I can't get out, but if I consider my options, will this happen again? I don't know. So that's just one situation that could be going on right here. I definitely feel like you're very in your head, and I feel like you're containing all of it or doing your best to contain it. I feel like you're very conscientious, like you know that you shouldn't be spending a lot of time thinking about it, but you can't help yourself. That's what it feels like. So let's see what lesson is coming up for you. And then we can work our way around this Ten of Swords in reverse. It's not bad for that to be in reverse. You know, that means you're releasing those expectations and recovering. But I feel you deserve much better than that. I hope you would agree. So let's see what lesson needs to be embraced in order to release all of this. Okay. And we have for you humor. I choose to focus on the lighter side of life. Yeah. So this is interesting. Every time this card comes out, I feel it's a message or an indication of how much hardship somebody has been through. So your past is no joke. For real. That's what this card means. It means that you've been through so much that you could actually laugh at it, if that makes sense. So I feel like you have experienced a lot of hardship and overcome a lot of mental and emotional barriers. You maybe even have been abused in the past emotionally by partners or even by family members. I'm not sure. But it feels like Spirit is saying, we want to liberate you from these patterns. And again, they're stressing, we don't want to minimize your experience or make light of it at all. but they're acknowledging rather the self-work that you've done. I feel like you work on yourself very deeply and pretty often, which is maybe why you're feeling protective of that work. It's like, I'm not sure I want to let somebody in quite yet. I don't want to like screw up all the good systems that I've put in place. So Spirit is saying, we want to acknowledge the work that you've done, and we want to help you be happy and laugh. And it's almost like, it reminds me of something my shaman teacher taught me when I was studying the medicine wheel. She said, you know, it's really important to not use affirmations that say like, I am protected or I need protection, because it implies that there's something that I need to be protected from. And then that energy will be like, oh, were you talking about me? Would you like me to come visit? Okay, cool. I'll be over at 7 tonight. So it's like, it's almost like that. It's like trying not to project expectations based on a long history onto the future. Because right now it's almost like the outcome would be like, oh, that was a close call, but I made it. And Spirit's like, we really want you to feel triumphant and happy in your life. So let's figure out a better outcome. So what kind of advice do you have for group number 2, Spirit? Advice for group number 2. So they're also showing me kind of like a moon, like the moon's phases, like changing through the sky. So if this is really resonating in a particular aspect of your life, maybe relationships, that is coming through, it could feel like it comes in waves, if that makes sense. It could feel like it is cyclical. Okay. Oh, and actually 3 of these fell out for you. So we have, stop it, a new romantic cycle begins, new moon in Libra. We were just talking about that. We also have new moon in Scorpio, work through your fears. And we have, it's time to release negativity, full moon in Scorpio. I've seen a lot of Scorpio cards come out of this deck recently. So y'all, we must be going through it. Okay, yeah, this is just another way to support what we've already laid out. Spirit wants to help you begin a new romantic cycle, one that will be fulfilling for you. And it has to do with totally completing like the scorpionic, almost ego death in a way. So it's not just working through your fears, because we have a continuation of Scorpio energy of here, but it's releasing them. And I would even argue transmuting them, because Scorpio is a transformer. They're a transformational sign. They deal with the death card very easily. It's something that feels very natural to them. So you might find that this year in particular, you're able to work with and move with heavy energies in a way that almost feels like second nature. So that could have been surprising. Like if something tough happened, or you faced a challenge already this year, since we're halfway through, you might have just dealt with it like it's old hat. Like, oh yeah, I'm familiar. I can do this. This is not a big deal. Whereas maybe other people in the same situation would have been quite upset for quite a long time. Okay. So I would love to see where you're going. Where you're going. How can we change this outcome, Spirit? Where could group number 2 end up if they make a couple adjustments based on your advice here today? And I'm getting the number 2 for you, so we will get 2 of these. First, we have best possible decision, number 18, Artemis, goddess of the bow. Help me see what must be known. More Sagittarius energy. Sag is strong in this reading today. And then we also have number 10, authenticity. Who I truly am is good indeed. I am authentic in thought, word, and deed. Yeah, I feel like you're coming back home to yourself. So if this whole relationship message is making a lot of sense for you and you've already had this, yes, this is me moment, you could have found yourself kind of dating the same man or same woman or same person. Gender's not important. Masculine energy did come through there just now, though. You could have found yourself sort of with the same type of person over and over again. Like, I thought I learned this lesson. Interesting. So you might even spend some time, you might be by yourself right now, but I feel like it's to come back home to yourself, because Spirit's like, let's take a look at your decisions. And let's lightheartedly take a look at your decisions and make sure they're lining up with who you truly are and what your values are, and that you're taking care of yourself. Okay. Let's see here. Let's get some more advice for you from the Angels and Ancestors deck. Already getting the number 3 here for this deck. So we'll get some advice. So how can we help group number 2 make the best possible decisions this year and stay true to themselves, tap into that authentic nature? That seems to be where you're nudging them, Spirit. What is your advice? Spirit Fox, trust your talents in changing times. Father Sky, trust in the unknown. There's that masculine there again. And Spring, see your seeds grow. Yeah, I feel like with Spring, there is a message about patience here, to not get too far ahead of yourself. It's exciting to check on your plant and see if it's growing, but there's this example they bring up to me sometimes of, if you hover over the plant, you kind of block out the sun, and it makes it slower. Like you wouldn't just uproot it to check how the roots are doing, if that makes sense. So there's kind of a message here to set it and forget it, as far as your personal growth and having a good sense of humor about things. It's like we want to help you lay down this foundation, and then it will just take off on its own. This is interesting. So with Spirit Fox, trust your talents in changing times. I feel like you already know how to do this. I was tempted to say it's a similar energy to group number 1, but I'm not sure if it is, because group number 1 like thrived and created change all the time. And I feel like you're just kind of used to a lot of change happening. And you've just learned to be flexible and agile and adapt well to new surroundings. But this is the main message here is Father Sky, to trust in the unknown. It's almost like, so I'm getting this scenario of not wanting to leave a current relationship without having another one lined up. And I know that sounds terrible, but that's just something that kind of happens sometimes, maybe even subconsciously. But it feels like Spirit is saying it's okay to not know who or what or how or why or when whatever is next comes, if that makes sense. Sometimes we just want to help you. We inspire you to change, make a change with this lightning. I'm getting this inspiration energy. And we want to help you move on that. Not too far. Not too far. The spring. That's funny. But we want to help you make moves without having everything already in place. I hope that's making sense. So I want to get some divine abundance cards for you to kind of round out a look at your 2022. So Spirit, if group number 2 is able to implement these changes to the best of their abilities, of course, nobody's perfect. We don't expect perfection. What kind of divine abundance is coming their way? What good things can they see coming out of 2022? Okay. I'm getting 3 here for you as well. So we have receiving. Ooh. Change, of course. A lot of repeating words in these readings, you know? And reframe. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I feel like there's a reframing of how you perceive decisions and changes that need to be made in life. And it feels like a reframing that is very appropriate and very tangible. And isn't it funny that it looks like this is a little gift and then receive? It's almost like you might get a gift at the end of the year. Ooh, that's so interesting. You might be able, it's almost like if you have trouble receiving things, or you might even think to yourself, I don't remember the last time somebody gave me a gift, or it doesn't truly feel like a gift. It feels like your ability to receive will widen, will deepen. And I'm getting the word cherish. I feel like that might be a key word for your year for 2022 is cherish. So something that you've been wishing for and hoping for looks like it might be yours at the end of the year. Ooh, okay. So those were your messages if you chose group number 2 with the pencil case. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. All right, and finally, let's get started with group number 3. If you chose this rubber ducky dressed up as a bumblebee, let's get your messages for your mid-year check-in. We'll start with tarot, and we will move from there. This should be a snapshot of where you've been, where you are, and where you're currently on track to end up. Of course, that is always changeable, so we will definitely get some advice on how to either sustain this outcome if it looks favorable or modify it if not so much. Interesting. So that will be an overarching theme. The other groups did not get that. So for group number 2, let's see where you've been. We've got the Knight of Cups, where you are, the Knight of Swords, and the Three of Cups. Okay. Very interesting. My kitty cat just laid down next to me. So I feel like you're looking for your people, group number 1. I feel like you're searching for your people. And by the end of the year, I'm definitely seeing some friendships around you and people that you can really spend time with and hang out with. So I really love that for you. So we might look into how to amplify that for you because this is quite a positive outcome comparatively. Oh, let's get your overall theme over here. I almost forgot about this little guy. We have the Chariot. Okay, so there's a lot of, I feel like you're feeling this urgency to move forward. And the Chariot is usually indicating a need to choose a direction and really commit and do it. And that makes sense here, because it almost feels like you've been 2 different people this year. So where you've been, we have the Knight of Cups. This is someone who's very intuitive, very giving, generous, patient, loving. This is a really great suitor if he shows up in a reading like that for you. The Knight of Cups is always very charming and chivalrous. So it feels like you've been playing that role in the year. Maybe you were really grounded in like your spiritual beliefs. You were like, I really want to communicate well with people in my life. And where you're coming from and where you're going are both cups. So it feels like you are on track to achieve a goal that you set out in this year. If it is to, almost, I don't want to say network because the cups are in the suit of emotion. So this is more like happiness. So maybe you thought, I really need to find my people. I really need to go out, share my energy, communicate with people in my community, connect again, and find my people. And you're on track to do that. Where you're at, though, is another Knight. So it's kind of like sidestepping into another aspect of who you are. So you might be feeling really in your head at this moment, or feeling almost like, is something time sensitive for you, group number 3? Maybe you're feeling like there's a ticking clock looming over you. Like, I've got to do this. I've got to figure out a way. If this way doesn't work, I have to do this other thing. And I've got to figure it out by this date. It almost feels like you might have set a time for yourself. And the Knight of Swords is very fast moving. So I'm already, and my throat chakra is really acting up. So I'm already getting a message for you to go a bit easier on yourself. There's no need to rush it. It's already coming for you. We are just going to help you figure out a couple ways to streamline your year so that it doesn't feel like you're in such a rush and like you're always having to do something. Okay, we'll see what lesson is being worked out here. Another message that is coming through is do one task at a time, group number 3. If you're anything like me, that is hard to do. I love to focus deeply on multiple things, so it's hard for me to just do one thing at a time. That is a message that just came through so loudly for you. That will really help you get a little bit less out of your head and back into this Knight of Cups energy. Oh, and we have for you change. Did every group have a card about change? I think it did. Interesting. I also feel like you're really connected to animal messengers at this time. Maybe even particularly for 2022, you're seeing a lot of special animals that hold messages for you. I understand that nothing can grow or evolve without movement. This is so funny. I feel like a lot of these groups are overlapping, so we might have a lot of universal themes going on right now. So it feels like Spirit is saying, yes, but it doesn't have to be that fast. You don't have to make yourself go that fast because it can almost feel frantic. And if I can say this to you, group number 3, and I feel like I can, it can almost result in like a flakiness or forgetting certain things or kind of blowing things off because you might feel so stressed about doing something or prioritizing something. It's almost like, you know that feeling when you're just swamped with work or a bunch of tasks in front of you, and then kind of a surprise task comes up out of nowhere and someone's like, oh, would you mind handling that? Or maybe a friend even says, oh, would you have time for a phone call today? And you're just like, no, I can't. I'm totally swamped. It's like that kind of energy. And Spirit's wanting to help you ground out of that so that you're able to really relish in the things that are happening in the present moment, because there are friends that are starting to show up for you, friends that you've been waiting for, that you've been looking for. And Spirit's like, we don't want you to miss a friend that we're trying to put in your face. And you're like, no, I'm too busy. They're like, please don't be too busy. So let's get some information on how to help with that. We'll start with Moonology. As my little kitty cat here is snuggled up with me. I also feel like your sleep is really important, group number 3. I feel like I'm hearing the word regulate. So maybe making sure that you're getting up and going to sleep around the same times of day every day, even on the weekends. I feel like that would be very helpful for you and helping you get more of that deep sleep. And I just heard no naps really loud. So maybe you're just not a nap person. Or that could be Spirit saying, don't let yourself take a nap. We want to help you sleep better at night. I've got the number 2 here, so we'll get 2 Moonology cards. First, we have a time to give rather than take, new moon in Virgo. And then we have be bold and make the first move, cardinal moon. So I feel like new moon in Virgo is kind of, it's like the intention that you set out with this year. A time to give rather than take. Maybe you spent time last year on your own a lot. Inside, you might even been like quarantining, you know, with everything going on. But it feels like with 2022, you're like, I want to share my energy. And I think that's exactly what we said before with the Knight of Cups. So this is lining up just perfectly. But then over here we have be bold and make the first move. So again, I feel like some type of pressure is getting to you. It feels unnecessary though. So if you're feeling pressed for time, I feel like Spirit is saying, we really want you to take a beat and ask, what is it? Like, what needs to be done so badly that I can't enjoy my ride home? Or, you know, stop at that coffee shop I love. You know, it just feels like there's this hurried energy that might just kind of be gunk that you picked up in your aura along the way. It feels like something that's not really yours, but it's kind of gotten out of hand. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, Spirit really wants to help you clear that up so that when these people show up, you're able to invite them to do something. You might organize some kind of gathering with these people. And so Spirit really wants you to be like on your A game so that you're able to show up and go, oh yeah, this is the moment. This is the moment I heard about in the reading. Yes, let's all go for drinks. Yes, come over for a dinner party at my place. It feels like you might organize something. Okay. So Spirit, if they are able to implement these changes and adjust a little bit, let go of that hurried energy, where will they end up with 2022? What could they look forward to? And I'm getting a lot of twos for you. A lot of twos. So for me, that's like, you might be the type of person who has a lot of acquaintances, but then like 2 best friends, if that makes sense. It's like the people who truly know you, really, really deeply know you. Okay. So let's get your 2 for 2022. You might see a lot of repeating numbers and angel numbers. Oh, we have energy number 13. A light inside my fire divine, energy fill me, make me shine. And then we also have beauty number 4. I have a form which is divine. I allow what is within to shine. I mean, yeah. Again, Spirit is really knocking it out of the park with these repetitive messages. I love when they're doing that. They're just saying, yep, that's it. That's the message. You got it. So again, you're sharing your energy. You've decided to share your energy, and that's what's going to happen in a much more beautiful way, in a much more like natural way than what's going on right now. Basically, the bottom line here is Spirit's like, we don't want you to have to force it, because you really don't. It's already coming for you. Your people are already coming. They just want to help you be present and alert enough to recognize them when they walk in your life and invite them out for coffee or whatever, you know? Yeah, I feel like you have very beautiful energy. So it might be honestly a little bit confusing for you. That might be why you're feeling like, I really need to figure this out. Because I feel like a lot of people are really drawn to you. You probably get a lot of people, like in public situations, making small talk with you, like at the grocery store, or asking you, hey, do you know directions to this place? Or do you know where this is? Or what aisle I can find this? It just feels like people are always talking to you. I almost said talking to your energy, but that's sort of true as well, isn't it? All right, let's get some angels and ancestors up in here for group number 3. Any advice to let that hurried energy kind of dissolve and welcome in their people? Any advice here, Spirit? Okay. And we have for you spring, see your seeds grow. All right. And sage, be devoted and committed. That's one of my favorite cards. And winter, take care of your needs. Okay, listen, group number 3, listen, okay? Look at that. Look how many cards are there. We only pulled 3. 2 of them are seasons. And there's only 4 seasons in this whole, like, wow. Wow. Yeah, I feel like there is some kind of timing that is really important to you. And I'm not honestly really sure what that is. It just feels like spring and winter are the most significant seasons of 2022 for you. And there's something deep within you that knows that as well. But maybe that reason isn't supposed to come out in this reading today. I'm not sure why they're being so cryptic. You know, some spirit guides are like that. They don't like to reveal a lot of detail even when I press them for it. Like, are you sure you can't give a little more information? They're like, nope. So it feels like you're aware of spring, but you're already aware of winter. And we're only in the summertime. So it feels like Spirit is saying, rather than really focus on the future, and how you can speed it up, how can I get there faster? Spirit's like, let's be patient. Let's be devoted and committed to the present moment. The Sage is also an acknowledgement to relearn lessons. So perhaps this quality that I'm talking about is something you're very familiar with and something that you've worked on before. But Spirit's saying, let's continue to work with it. Not like deny it or push it down or shut it up or anything like that. But let's learn to work with this energy. Yeah, but I mean, this is like a basic manifestation blueprint. I feel like you're good at manifestation. You know how to organize it. You're like, here's my seeds. I put them in the ground. I want my people. And now I have to be committed and devoted. And I know I want to find my people. And then in the winter time, take care of your needs. My people will be here because I need my people. And that's why I focused on that for 2022. I mean, this is just so clear to me. And I hope it feels really clear to you as well, group number 3. So let's get some divine abundance to round out this reading. All right, what are all the great things, maybe other themes that group number 3 can expect to see in 2022? I've got to say, these groups have been really specific. So I hope they do resonate with you, or your particular group resonates with you. Okay. What divine abundance is coming for group number 3 in the year of 2022, especially when they're able to implement these changes? Change. Again, girl, we're all going through change, apparently. You saw me shuffle these. Shuffle on camera for a reason. Grounded, thank you. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. A little variety here. Grounding that mental energy. And right now, oh my gosh, we were just talking about embracing the now moment. So this needs to go here. And with the Sage, be devoted and committed. Not feeling like you have to change things around you, but rather working with this energy of change patiently in the now moment. Wow. Change right now, grounded. That's almost another message that what you're seeking is here in a way. The change is here right now. We're grounding it for you to be able to perceive it in the material world. Wow. Amazing. So those are your messages if you chose group number 3 with the rubber ducky dressed up as the Bumblebee. I hope that resonated. Please let me know if it did. So it was super specific. I'm very curious. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.